President. First and foremost, I want to make it very, very clear that the guidance that CDC continues to put out for schools K through 12 and higher learning is intentional for reopening and keeping our schools open. That's its purpose. We recognize that there's a variety of unique circumstances for different schools and different school districts. And so we've outlined a number of strategies that those schools, those administrators can use to accomplish this goal safely.
There were a number of schools and districts across the country that did an awesome job of transitioning this spring. And there were a lot in which I and state school leaders were disappointed in that they didn't figure out how to continue to serve their students. Too many of them just gave up. Things like this cannot happen again in the fall. It would fail America's students, and it would fail taxpayers who pay high taxes for their education. Ultimately, it's not a matter of if schools should reopen, it's simply a matter of how. They must fully open, and they must be fully operational. And how that happens is best left to education and community leaders. Physical health and safety are factors. So is mental health. So is social-emotional development. And importantly, very importantly, so are lost opportunities for students, particularly the most vulnerable among us and students with disabilities.
From HHS's perspective, reopening schools safely may be the single most important thing that we can do to support healthy families during this pandemic. Reopening schools comes with some risk, but there are risks to keeping kids at home too. At home, kids aren't benefiting from social stimulation. They may be falling behind in learning. They may be more vulnerable to abuse that goes unreported by the mandatory reporters in our school system. They may not be getting special services they may need. They may not be getting the nutrition that they get at school. And it may be difficult for parents to get back to work, as Secretary Scalia noted. This issue, like so many considerations around safely reopening, isn't about health versus the economy, but about health versus health. All of this is why the American Academy of Pediatrics has strongly recommended beginning with the goal of having students physically present in school.
And none of the CDC's recommendations are intended to replace state, local rules and guidance.
The president tweeted this morning that he disagrees with the CDC's very tough and expensive guidelines for reopening schools. Do you also disagree with those guidelines? And are you concerned that you may be putting the health of students and teachers at risk by trying to meet the president's demand to reopen?
Well, the president and I spoke about that this morning, and I think what you will see in the coming days, what you heard from Dr. Redfield yesterday at the summit and again today, is very consistent with the president's objective and the concerns that he's raised. We don't want the guidance from CDC to be a reason why schools don't open. That apart from having an underlying health condition, children do not appear to be susceptible to serious illness from the coronavirus.